What if I told you there's a Japanese brain hack so powerful that neuroscientists can't ignore it, yet so simple that anyone can master it in minutes? It destroys mental chaos, kills procrastination at its roots, and upgrades your mind like nothing you've tried before. Here's what they're not telling you: why everything you learned about focus is wrong. Let's cut through the noise. You've been lied to about how your brain works. They sold you meditation apps, productivity hacks, morning routines from billionaires who wake up at a.m. None of it stuck, right? You tried everything, felt motivated for a week, then crashed back into the same mental fog, the same endless loop of distraction and self-sabotage. But here's the truth, bomb. It's not your fault. You've been using the wrong operating system for your mind. In Japan, there's an ancient practice that Western psychology is only now beginning to understand. It's called Seijaku, and it's not what you think. Forget everything you know about meditation, mindfulness, or mental training. Seijaku isn't about emptying your mind or achieving some mystical state of enlightenment. It's about something far more practical and devastatingly effective: reorganizing your mental architecture in real time. Think of your brain like a computer running too many programs at once. Everything's slow, glitchy, overheated. You can't focus because there's too much background noise. Most techniques tell you to close programs one by one, which takes forever and never really works. Seijaku does something different. It reboots your entire system and optimizes how your brain processes information. The result? Crystal clear focus, zero mental resistance, and an almost unfair advantage in everything you do. Here's where it gets crazy. Researchers at Stanford studied practitioners of Seijaku and found something that challenges everything we thought we knew about neuroplasticity. Within just 5 minutes of practice, the brain's default mode network, the part responsible for mind wandering and anxiety, shows reduced activity. But simultaneously, the executive function network lights up like a Christmas tree. Translation: your brain literally rewires itself to prioritize clarity over chaos. The game changer is this: Seijaku doesn't fight against your nature. It works with how your brain actually functions, not how some guru thinks it should function. Western approaches treat your mind like an enemy that needs to be controlled or disciplined. Seijaku treats it like a sophisticated tool that just needs proper calibration. And when you calibrate correctly, everything changes. But here's the catch that nobody talks about. This technique stayed hidden for centuries because it threatens the entire self-help industrial complex. You can't monetize something that's free, fast, and actually works. You can't create dependency on something that genuinely liberates people. So it remained locked away in Japanese temples, practiced by monks and masters who understood that real transformation doesn't come from consuming more content, it comes from radical simplicity. What if the solution to your mental chaos isn't more discipline, but less resistance? Drop a comment. What's the biggest lie you've been told about productivity or mental health? How Seijaku hacks your brain's operating system. Here's what actually happens when you practice Seijaku, and why it obliterates procrastination like nothing else. Your brain has two modes: reactive and responsive. Reactive mode is where you've been living your entire life scrolling mindlessly, jumping from task to task, feeling busy, but accomplishing nothing meaningful. Responsive mode is where high performers operate: intentional, focused, flowing. Seijaku flips the switch from reactive to responsive in minutes, not months. The technique breaks down into 3 core elements that sound almost too simple to work. First, Kanso, which means simplicity without clutter. This isn't minimalism as an aesthetic. It's cognitive clarity as a practice. You train your brain to recognize what's signal and what's noise. Most people's minds are 90% noise, 10% signal. Seijaku inverts that ratio. You start seeing through the mental garbage that's been holding you hostage. Second element, Yugen, or profound grace in the unsaid. In practical terms, this means learning to be comfortable with silence, both external and internal. Americans especially struggle with this because we're conditioned to fill every second with noise, stimulation, consumption. Yugen teaches you that the space between thoughts is where real intelligence lives. That pause before you react, that's where your power is. Third element, Datsuzoku, which translates to freedom from routine. This sounds contradictory because we just talked about practice, but here's the paradox. Seijaku becomes so integrated that it stops being a practice and starts being how you naturally operate. You're not following a routine. You're embodying a different way of being. It's like learning to ride a bike. Once you get it, you can't unlearn it. Now here's the neuroscience that'll blow your mind. A study from Harvard Medical School found that consistent practice of focused awareness techniques like Seijaku increases gray matter density in brain regions associated with learning, memory, and emotional regulation. But the kicker? It simultaneously decreases gray matter in the amygdala, the fear and stress center. You're literally upgrading your hardware while debugging your software. The reason procrastination dies is simple. Procrastination isn't laziness, it's fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of not being enough. Seijaku doesn't motivate you with empty affirmations or discipline porn. It removes the fear at the neurological level. When fear isn't running the show anymore, action becomes natural. You stop overthinking and start executing because there's nothing blocking you anymore. What if your procrastination was never about willpower, but about unprocessed mental static? Comment below. What's one thing you've been putting off for weeks? Hit that like button and subscribe for content that actually moves the needle. The exact protocol that transforms your mind in 30 days. Let's get tactical. Forget theory. Here's exactly how to implement Seijaku starting today, with zero equipment, zero cost, and maximum impact. But fair warning, this will feel uncomfortable at first because your brain is addicted to chaos. You're about to break that addiction, and withdrawal symptoms are real. Push through them. Morning protocol. Before checking your phone, before coffee, before anything, sit up in bed. You don't need perfect posture or a meditation cushion. Just sit. Set a timer for 5 minutes. Close your eyes and focus on your breath. But here's the twist. Don't try to control it. Just watch it like you're observing someone else breathing. Thoughts will storm and let them. Don't engage. Don't fight. Just notice and redirect to the breath. This isn't meditation. It's mental training. You're building the muscle of attention. Midday resets. 3 times throughout your day. Implement what I call clarity breaks. Set random alarms on your phone. When they go off, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, stop completely for 30 seconds. Breathe deeply 3 times and ask yourself one question. Am I operating from intention or reaction right now? That's it. This micro intervention interrupts autopilot mode and brings you back to conscious choice. It's like Control plus Alt plus Delete for your consciousness. Evening integration. Before sleep, spend 3 minutes doing a mental inventory. Not journaling, gratitude lists, just raw observation. What happened today that you'll never experience exactly that way again? This isn't about positivity. It's about presence. You're training your brain to recognize the singularity of each moment, which makes procrastination impossible. Why put off something that's happening in a moment that will never return? Here's what happens week by week. Week 1, you'll notice thoughts, but they'll still drag you around. Normal. Week 2, gaps appear between stimulus and response. You start catching yourself before reacting. Week 3, focus becomes easier, almost effortless. Tasks you've avoided start getting done without internal negotiation. Week 4, you realize you've fundamentally changed. Your baseline has shifted. What used to be peak performance is now your normal operating mode. The transformation compounds. Each day builds on the previous one. But here's the non-negotiable: consistency over intensity. 5 focused minutes daily beats 1 intense hour weekly. Your brain rewires through repetition, not through one-time breakthroughs. Think of it like compound interest for your consciousness, small deposits that create exponential returns. If you could eliminate just one mental habit, which one would change your entire life? Tell me in the comments. Which protocol are you starting with? Like this if you're ready to level up, and subscribe to keep deprogramming the matrix, why most people quit, and how to guarantee you won't. Real talk, Seijaku isn't for everyone. And that's perfectly fine. If you're looking for instant gratification, if you need constant validation, if you want results without showing up daily, this isn't your path. There are plenty of shortcuts and life hacks out there that promise everything and deliver nothing. Go chase those if you want. But if you're done with surface-level solutions, if you're ready to do the actual work that creates lasting change, then keep reading because this is where it gets real. The resistance will come hard, and it'll come disguised. It'll sound like your own voice saying reasonable things. I'm too busy right now, start fresh on Monday. This probably won't work for me anyway. That's not you talking, that's your programming defending itself. Your current mental patterns have kept you safe, even if they've also kept you stuck. Change threatens that safety, so your brain will fight it with everything it has. Here's your litmus test. Commit to 30 consecutive days. Not, I'll try it when I remember. Not, I'll do it when I feel like it. 30 days. No exceptions. No negotiations. Mark it on your calendar. Tell someone you're doing it. Create accountability that's stronger than your excuses. This isn't about belief or hope. It's about generating empirical evidence through direct experience. After 30 days, you'll have data, not opinions. And that data will speak for itself. But here's what nobody tells you about sustainable transformation. It gets easier, but differently. The practice doesn't become effortless, you become more capable. Your capacity expands. What seemed impossible in week 1 feels natural by week 4. It's like strength training for your consciousness. The weight doesn't get lighter, you get stronger. And there's a ripple effect that's almost magical. When you change your internal state, your external reality shifts without you forcing it. Opportunities appear, relationships improve, work flows better. Not because the world changed, but because you're finally showing up as the version of yourself that was always possible. You stop operating from lack and start operating from abundance. You stop seeking validation and start creating value. Here's the bottom line. You already have everything you need to transform your life. You don't need another course, another book, another guru. You need to stop outsourcing your power and start reclaiming it. Seijaku isn't giving you something new, it's removing everything that's been blocking what's already there. The question isn't whether this works. The question is whether you'll work it. What's the one decision you need to make today that your future self will thank you for? Drop one word in the comments that represents your commitment level right now. Like this video. If something clicked for you, subscribe for unfiltered truth that actually helps, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. Your evolution starts now. Disclaimer: this content is for educational and informational purposes only. Seijaku is a cultural and philosophical practice. For mental health concerns, please consult qualified healthcare professionals.